Let's see how to restrict communication between containers using a simple multi-network concept. Okay, so normally in a three-tier architecture, you will have a web server, okay, and the web server will have a connectivity to the app server, okay, and from there, app server will have a access to the database server, okay, and the communication between the web server and DB server will not be there. Like either the web server will not be able to communicate to the DB server, or the DB server will not be able to communicate to the web server. Okay, let's see how do we mimic the similar architecture by using multi-network concept in a single machine. Okay, so for this, we are going to create two networks. One is a network A and another one is network B. Okay, and we will bring the web container on the network A and we will bring the DB container on the network B. Okay, and we'll bring the app container on the network A and then we will attach the network B to the app container. So the app container will have two IPs, okay, and web container and DB container will have only one IP, so that web will be able to communicate to app will be able to communicate to DB. But if I try to connect from my web to DB, I will have the connection will not be allowed. Vice versa, DB will not be able to connect to the web. So we will repeat the three-tier architecture in this method. So let me first create two networks. So Docker network create -driver. So what kind of network I'm going to create? I'm going to create a bridge network. Bridge. Let me name it as network A. So this will create, I'm creating the network A. And if I inspect this network, Docker inspect network A. So you see that it automatically generating the 172.18 series IP for the network, because 17 series already available was used by the default bridge network. So when I create a new network, it is allocating 18 series in an automated fashion. Okay, you can also specify the range when you are creating the network. We will see that example after this. Okay, in the same way, let me create the network B. And let me inspect the network B. So there it should get a 19 series IP. Now, let me bring up the web container in the network A. So let's do that. So the command is, we'll use busybox for everything. So Docker run -it -network A and -name, let me call it as web cbox h, and if I do an if config, I can see this machine got allocated with 18.2. Okay. So now let me open another session. So let me duplicate a session. Let me bring up the DB container on the network B. So as in the diagram, I have created network A and network B, and the web container I'm bringing it on the network A, and DB container I'm going to bring it on the network B. So this is my DB container, which is having 172.19.0.2. Let me open up a duplicate session. Duplicate the session, and there let me bring up the app container on the network A. Okay, so I have brought up this container. Now I'm going to bring up the app container on the network A first. Network A, and let me name it as app. And if I do the config, I can see it is having this. Fine. So I have three sessions. This is my web container, and this is my DB container, and this is my app container. So now let me open one more session. I am going to attach the app container to the network B, because my app container is already running on the network A. So the command to attach a network to a running container is docker network connect network B. Okay, docker network connect network B, and the container name. App is my container name. So now once you run this, if you go and run the if config on the app container, you can see it is having two IP addresses allocated. One on the 18 series and one on the 19 series. I have achieved this infrastructure. Two networks, three containers, and the web container is in one network, DB container is in the other network, and my app container in both the networks. Okay, so now from the web container, let me check the connectivity to the DB. So use the ping command, ping-c 1. Okay, so 172.18.0.3. So you can see it is getting connected. If I try to connect the 19.0.2, that is my DB, the connection will not work. You can see 100% packet loss. There is no connectivity. From my web, I'm able to connect to my DB, to the app, but I'm not able to connect the DB. Okay, so now let's go to our DB. So this is my DB. From here, let me connect to the app, that is ping, -C1 19.0.3. This is worked, but if I try to access the web, that is 18.0.2, it should not work. So the next thing we are going to talk about is called, okay, so from the app, let me connect to the web and DB. Both should work. Let's see that. So 0.2 working fine. And let me check the DB connectivity. That is 19.0.2. This should also work. So I am able to achieve this. So I'm able to mimic the 3-tier architecture using multiple network, but in the real time, you will not be doing it. All these things are managed by the Kubernetes and stuff, but you should understand the concept, how things are being done inside. That's why I just created this and given it to you. If you have a single Docker node, and if you want to restrict the communication, you can use these options. While creating the network, I never mentioned what should be the IP range it should use, right? So it is automatically creating with some numbers, right? It was using 17, 18, and 19. So while creating the network, if I should allow to get the IP address or mention the IP range, yes, you can do that. The option is Docker network create --subnet equal to 172.22.0.0/16 and test network. We just create a test network. Okay. So this will create a test network with the defined range. To get more information, you can use Docker network inspect test network. You can see the IP range is defined as this. So this is how you can specify a range for the network. Network A. Network A is a network which I automatically created that, right? So in that, I'm going to allocate a IP 172.18.0.10. This is well within the range. And if I run the busy box, you can see it's going to throw an error. User specified IP address is supported only when connecting to the networks with user configured subnets. Because when I'm creating the network A, I never mentioned the subnet range. So it's throwing error. But if I try to bring up a container on the test network, which I created now, test network is the network I have created, right? Test network, and there it is having the 22 series as the range. So let me change the range. So now the container will run, and I can see it is having 172.22.0.10. So this is another advantage of defining your own network range, own subnet range for your network. Then you can allocate a static IP for your container.